The Bible does not say that God created man in the Garden of Eden. It says the gods created man and put him into the garden.
And when they left the garden, they left and found people out there. It says so in the Bible. All around the garden were people.
And when Adam and Eve were told, had two sons, Cain and Abel, when Cain kills his brother Abel, God says you have to leave out of this protected area. Cain says to God in the scriptures, do not send me out there because anyone finding me out there is going to kill me. God says, no, I'm not going to let them kill you. I'll put a mark on you. Now God believes there's somebody out there. The point is that there must have been people out already there, but not as highly developed and not highly evolved. It would be reasonable if you took a caveman or a Neanderthal race of people and took two out and then through some sort of a high technology genetically changed them and evolved them quickly and then send you back out into a Neanderthal civilization. Now you're going to be totally different, and they're going to remember that you left and now you come back different. It all smacks of something else that's in the Bible that we haven't been told.
Can you imagine that 36,000 years ago, according to mainstream, we were like hunter-gatherers just trying to find scraps on the ground and scavenging to eat and group hunt mammoths and all this kind of crazy stuff, and living out of caves and everything else. And at the same time that that's all supposed to be going on, this is being written. This is being written, right? So let me ask you this question based on bare bones logic. If you're living in a civilization where your main goal of the day is to survive and just find some type of food and shelter, do you have time to write these kind of works of art? Do you have time to understand quantum physics, quantum mechanics, theoretical physics, philosophy, frequencies and vibrations? Do you have time for that? So something ain't adding up. Either some people came here with some real knowledge, or they don't want us to know that these people came here with the real knowledge because they don't teach you this in school.
Our projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite. You have given us entree to the resources we need in our ongoing quest for multidimensional expansion. And in return, the per capita income of each of you here tonight has grown, and this year alone, by an average 39%. And I've just received word that our forces have won a major victory. The underground terrorist network has been destroyed here on the West Coast. We are off crisis alert. The situation is normal again.
How you doing, boys? I didn't know you'd been recruited. Welcome aboard.
Earth is our stepping stone for a
You
great...
know, you boys really should have dressed for the party. Now you can afford it.
These 7 families don't post. They don't need fame. They run the system. The Cargills. They own more of your food than any company on Earth. From your cereal to global grain, this family feeds the world. The Kochs, oil, gas, paper, politics, quiet rulers of the conservative machine. They don't run for office. They sponsor those who do. And while they push anti-regulation, they sell you napkins. Number 3, the Mellons, old steel big banks, the original quiet capital. Their name lives in universities, but their money lives in shadows. Number 4, the Tisch family. Ever heard of them? They run Lowe's Corp and help shape UPS. Billionaires in banking, insurance, and football. Number 5, the DuPonts. Still rich, still deadly. Their chemicals built America and polluted it. Their story includes murder, madness, and monopoly. 6, the Waltons. You shop Walmart, they run the supply chain. Paid billions while workers get cents. They own the skies and the town below. Number 7, the Bloombergs, data, media, power, influence. He can swing elections and markets. Wall Street literally runs on his software. Soft power with sharp reach, quiet but everywhere. These families own more land than most countries. And what's behind the curtain? Trusts, art, history itself. Their donations don't come with receipts, just favors. They fund the schools that educate future presidents. And yes, they fund the media that shapes your view of them. They don't trend, they don't dance, they dominate. Their ancestors ran railroads, their kids run the internet. You'll never visit, you'll never be invited. That's the point. Most aren't. That's the power of being off the radar. Cargill, Koch, Mellon, Tisch, DuPont, Walton, Bloomberg. Comment which family shocked you most. Follow old money tales, because what's hidden is usually in charge.
Music came from the demonic realm. Okay?
Music came from the demonic.
The devil was one of the chief culprits of that.
What?
Satan himself. And you mentioned, see, even Muslims use the word Satan. It comes from the word shaitan.
All right, we're going to come back to Aleister Crowley. What do you mean the devil created music? I love music.
He brought music on the earth.
But it's a beautiful thing.
It doesn't mean it's all bad either, but I got to explain to you. So this is what I was trying to get to an hour ago, and we keep going off tangents. I hope the audience can keep up. And
I hope they can too.
I hope they don't.
You're like a freight train, bro. Gotta let you roll.
There's so many moving pieces to this.
I
It's
know.
a very broad topic with a lot of very important things.
Yep.
To kind of gather it all back in. When God created Adam, before he even created him, the devil, Satan as he's known, A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim, the enemy of humanity. Okay? This species lived on Earth long before humanity. Okay? Before the first human being ever existed, before ancient Sumeria, before any of this stuff, Billy, Carson, God had other creations on this earth. But now what's interesting to me is that from the, from the Abrahamic perspectives, like, why was it always the earth being used as like this kind of like testing ground? There's so many other planets, right? Why, for some reason, he created that species? They were on here before us, long before us. The demonic realm. Now remember, English does not serve the description of what these beings are. It doesn't translate well into English. Because we think demon, they're only evil. That's it. Yeah. Christianity tries to make up for describing them by saying, no, they're not all evil, they're fallen angels. But that's inaccurate. And I'll tell you why I think it's inaccurate.
The curse of knowing too much. Here's a truth no one talks about. Intelligence can ruin your life, not because you're wrong, but because you see too much. You notice the fake smiles, you hear the lies under their compliments. You see the cracks in the system, the flaws in people, and the games they play to survive. You outgrow conversations, you can't enjoy the party, because your brain's analyzing the why behind every word spoken. And that ruins the magic. Most people get to live in blissful ignorance. You're cursed with clarity. And here's the twisted part. The smarter you are, the lonelier it gets, because surface level doesn't stimulate you. And real depth? That scares people away. So what do? You pretend, you shrink, you play dumb to fit in. But deep down you know, this world wasn't built for people like you. It was built to reward those who don't ask why. So if you feel out of place, you're not broken. You're just awake in a world that's asleep. And that, my friend, is both your burden and your power.
You've probably heard that we live in a three-dimensional world, but what if I told you there are 12 dimensions of reality, and that your DNA is the key to every single one? Because your DNA, it's not just biology, it's memory, it's a braid of light, and each strand connects you to a higher part of yourself. We have 12 strands of DNA, and we have a version of ourselves in each dimension. 12 soul expressions, 12 levels of awareness, 12 doors your spirit already remembers how to walk through. Let me show you how it works. The first 3 strands connect to your 3D self, the version of you rooted in survival, identity, and separation. This is the you that learns through contrast, that wakes up through pain, joy, and everything in between. The 4th strand opens 4D awareness, where your emotions live. Here you start healing old patterns, releasing karmic loops, and remembering that time isn't as linear as it once seemed. The 5th strand activates 5D consciousness. Now your heart leads. You remember love that doesn't control, and joy that doesn't require explanation. When the 6th strand comes online, you enter 6D. You begin to see patterns, sacred geometry, light codes, synchronicities. This is where your dream world and waking world start to braid. Strand 7 brings in 7D. You begin feeling your soul group. You may start channeling, receiving glyphs, or remembering things you never learned in this life. The 8th strand, where I am now, connects to 8D. It's the braid of soul resonance and telepathic knowing. Here, you don't just speak truth, you feel it in others. Your presence alone becomes an activation. The 9th strand connects to your 9D self, the version of you that remembers your soul contracts, your mission, and your counterpart. This is where soulmate braids reweave across time. And beyond that, strands 10 through 12 connect you to your template self, your creator self, and eventually your source self. Not above you, but within you. You don't have to chase these versions of you. They're already here. Your DNA is just unlocking the doorway to meet them. So no, you're not just a body. You're a dimensional chorus in human form, and strand by strand, you're remembering the song. Would you like me to turn this into a visual?
The Anunnaki, they are these beings that came from off-world.
So these are aliens?
These are aliens. Now, what's interesting about these aliens is that they're not little green men with antenna.
Yeah.
They're actually hominids, bilateral bipedal hominids. They look just like us. Now, what's interesting is these beings were a spacefaring race that broke away from the Pleiadian star system. The Pleiadian star system is a group of stars called the Seven Sisters in the night sky. You can see 6 stars with the naked eye. Now, these stars in ancient times, according to ancient texts and tablets, there was an ancient galactic war there.
Okay.
Most of the information from Star Wars comes from this text. And this war, they had these destroyers like Death Stars. They don't call them that, but they call them the Brahma-Astra and Brahma-Astra Honda weapons that actually can release a weapon that can destroy planets.
Okay.
Imagine if you were in a star system and a planet is being blown up and you're in a nearby planet.
You
gotta
the fuck out of it.
off of your planet.
Yeah.
This created something called space refugees. Nobody's talking about this.
Where are you getting this information again? Where is
the
this?
Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the Indian Vedas.
So these are ancient Indian texts.
That's right.
5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Enuma Elish,
I just
which
wanna
is
let you know.
Sumerian.
In 1985, Saddam Hussein ordered the restoration of the great ziggurat of Ur. Even today, you can still see and use the massive stairways he had installed. He believed Ur was sacred ground, the place where gods once walked. According to the Sumerians, this was where the gods descended, ruled the earth, taught kings, built cities, and then vanished. The ziggurat was a beacon. During the restoration, workers uncovered sealed chambers, rooms not listed on any archaeological plans. Inside, strange inscriptions, symbols that didn't match Sumerian cuneiform, tools or objects made of unfamiliar alloys, burned glyphs resembling stars, gates, and spirals. The site was locked down. Workers were reassigned. Equipment removed under military escort. Whatever was found, it never saw the light of day again. After the invasion, the U.S. military did something strange. They built a base right on top of the great ziggurat of Ur. Not beside it, not near it, directly on top. The oldest temple in human history turned into a forward operating base. The official story? Logistics, proximity, coincidence. But the soldiers who were stationed there told a different story. They described areas of the site being cordoned off, patrolled, off limits. Archaeologists were removed, locals pushed out, cameras banned, sections of the ziggurat sealed, covered. One soldier said it felt like they weren't guarding a monument. They were guarding something inside it. If Saddam had found something beneath Ur, the U.S. came to take it. But what if the ziggurat was never just a temple? What if it was a machine? What if the ancients didn't just build monuments? They built terminals, interfaces to something larger, a Stargate network, a grid of hidden technology buried beneath layers of myth and empire. Iraq was just one node, but a powerful one, and Saddam knew it. That's why he rebuilt Babylon, had his name carved into every stone, echoed the proclamations of Nebuchadnezzar. He believed Babylon was rising again, that the gate would open, and the world watched him. Ancient kings spoke of gods descending from the sky. Modern powers wage wars over ruins, and buried beneath it all is a secret no one is supposed to find. Maybe it's just myth. Maybe it's buried truth. But whatever was uncovered in the deserts of Iraq, whatever Saddam found beneath the ziggurats and temples, it was enough to rewrite history. And maybe that's why they had to burn it. We were told the Iraq War was about weapons of mass destruction. We were told it was about oil, about terrorism, about freedom. But what if that was just the surface? What if it was about something older, something buried? The tomb of Gilgamesh, a resurrection chamber, a stargate, locked behind the gates of Babylon. The whispers are always the same. Artifacts taken, sites sealed, records scrubbed. And the world moves on, never asking why. They told us the Anunnaki were just myth. They told us the gods never came. But maybe they were here. Maybe they left something behind. And maybe, just maybe, someone found it. Saddam believed he was chosen to finish what the old kings began. And if that belief was based on something real, then the war wasn't about controlling the future. It was about rewriting the past, or worse, unsealing it. The story isn't over, because the ziggurats are still there, and whatever's sleeping beneath them hasn't woken up yet.